a quick piece of information that might help you guys if you have to do some wiring on your car. And if you're going to make a repair, what's a simple way to do it, and what's a little more sophisticated, but a better way to do it. So the first one, and the one I see the most, is one where you have say a terminal that looks like this, and you want to connect it to a wire. So we're going to take this piece of wire here that we have, that's a piece of scrap, and we're just going to cut off a section of it right here. And by the way, I wanted to show you the difference here while I'm doing this. This is a pair of pliers that's going to crimp that, and this one also does the same thing. I bought this one on Amazon, and I won't tell you what country it came from, but look at this. It won't even cut this. I can't even barely get it to cut it. This one I bought on the Matco truck, and it works great. Okay, so enough for that. Here's a little piece of wire. We're going to put it on there. The other thing I bought, you can do it two ways. You can have a stripper that looks like this, where you put your wire in there, and then you pull and tug around on it and try to get the insulation off. Or you go to Home Depot and buy one like this. I love this, and you just stick it in there like this, and if you want it longer, you push this red thing back and forth. So we're going to take basically the shortest cut, and look at that. I've already got the insulation off. Now, if you're a crimper kind of guy, then you're going to buy some terminals like this somewhere, and you're going to stick this in here, and you're going to use this portion with the little tooth and the little indentation and set it in here like this, and hold your wire firm, and then squeeze it like you've never squeezed before in your life, and you crimp that together. See, now that doesn't want to come apart. I don't like this. We don't use this here in the shop because over time these things wear out. They have a chance for dirt. They don't look good, and I can tell you that over time they don't last, so we don't do that here. We solder. So let me show you the way that I solder it. First of all, I want to start over here, showing you that I'm going to use this connector right here to join two pieces of wire together, one in this end and one in this end. What I don't like about these is this is where you put the solder in, and it doesn't really have a good enough hole, so I'm particular enough. So we're going to put this in the vise like this. Pretty simple thing to do. Leave that little notch up, take your drill with a small bit, put it in that spot where it's supposed to drill, and kind of argue with it a little bit. That hole's in there. Then I always just run one through here to clean that out so the solder will go through there. And now what we have is a hole where you can put your solder in. Now there's a couple ways you can solder. So I'm going to get another piece of wire here with my cutters that actually cut wire. I'm going to take both ends off with my trimmers right here. Didn't do that very good. That one's off. That one's off. I'm going to cut it in two so it's a little easier to manage. And I bought this tool a long time ago. You can see how it holds the wires. I soldered this one earlier, but the nice thing about this is it's magnetic, so it'll sit on the side, anything under the car where you want it. This one also does the same thing, and you can put your wires in there and hold them while you're trying to solder them together. I use a little bit of flux that I've had for years and years, and I put a little bit on the end like that, stick it in here, same thing on this wire, stick it in here. Now if I'm able to keep my fingers together, I'm going to put this one in there. I'm going to put this one in here. You can see I've mounted it in there like this, and I've got the hole up. Now you can do this with a torch, where you would just simply turn on your torch and heat this up and add some solder to it, or you can use this tool, which I like a little bit better. It gets hot pretty quickly. It's electric. These tend to burn up the wiring insulation on the side if you get too aggressive with it. The other sort of soldering irons they look like a gun, and it takes them forever to get this hot. So I've learned to like this thing. I just simply do that, and it's already ready for me to solder. I stick the solder down in the hole, give it a little bit of a push like that. I'm all done. And it's all soldered together. Now the next thing you want to do is put a little bit of shrink wrap on there to cover up what you've done. So you take that, slide it through this hole, cover up your joint, take your torch, heat it, and you'll see how it shrinks up. See how it just kind of went right to the conform with the sides of the wire, and it's done. It's all together and it's done, and this will last forever. So what did we use for tools? We used a crimper, cutter, we used a stripper, we used a soldering iron of my choice. You could get one of your choice. We used a torch, and we used these two magnetic instruments to help hold the wire so they don't flop around on your bench, and a roll of solder, and a connector, or a crimp, whichever one you want to use on your car. Hope that helps you. I'm Barry Wilson at Wilson Auto Repair.